Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the October public meeting of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture. My name is Jaelon Moaney. I'm our vice chair, and I just want to give a special shout out to the Beach to Bay Heritage Area, Malone's Church, and former Commissioner Dr. Clara Small for being in attendance this morning. There's a lot of friendly faces around the room. We're really privileged to be here this morning. And so at this time, it is a great privilege to welcome another person from Dorchester County who has really been a beacon both for Dorchester County, the Maryland 250 Commission, and we're hoping the American 250 semi-quincentennial effort through her beautiful voice. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Jayla Elise up to the podium to sing the Negro National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Faith in the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you, everyone.
That was beautiful. Let's give her another hand. Wow. What a way to start out a Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture meeting. Today, October the 6th, we are here at 11868 Academic Oval Road, Princess Anne, Maryland, at the Allen J. Singleton Multipurpose Room in the Student Services Center. We're going to begin with our call to order, and it is as follows. Chair, Khalid Asset Amin. Thank you, ma'am. Vice Chair, Jaelon Moaney.
Present.
Commissioner, Rochelle Adams.
Present.
Commissioner, Yura Jean Bailey. Commissioner, Lori Bradford. Commissioner, Dina, Daley.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Mark Glaze. Commissioner Walter Gill.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Commissioner Gina Marie Lewis. Commissioner Yoti Mohan. Commissioner Brian Morrison.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Robert Patterson.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ada Pinkston.
Present.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Commissioner Bridget Jones-Smith.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Hakeem Tajani. Commissioner Chrissy Michelle Thornton.
I'm present, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Alethea Smith Withers. Commissioner Kennedy Wilson.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. And Commissioner Wesley Wood.
Present.
Thank you, sir. To the chair, vice chair, commission, and public body, the notice for today's public meeting was placed in our local and national syndicates, as well as the Banneker-Douglass Museum website and the commission's website. And so now I turn this powerful meeting over to the wonderful hands of our chair, actually vice chair, Jaelon Moaney, who will proceed further with our meeting. Thank you so much.
We're in store for a really powerful welcome address this morning. And so I'm going to be bringing forward University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Vice President for Strategic Initiatives and Chief of Staff, Dr. Robert Mock.
Thank you so much. I bring you greetings on behalf of the 16th President of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Dr. Heidi Anderson, who unfortunately was not able to be here today with you all. The UMES is an 1890 land-grant public institution. We have 90 academic offerings here, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs. We're the first and only HBCU to be the recipient of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute Driving Change Initiative. We have the only accredited aviation degree in the state of Maryland. We have the only sequential arts program that the nation offers for an accredited 4-year college. As well, we're the only HBCU in the nation offering a PGA certified professional golf management program. On the Eastern Shore, it is a place where Black history has lived for quite some time. Most and many of the state's most important African American history is rooted right here on the Eastern Shore. The birthplace of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. And just so that you are aware, it's very important to become knowledgeable of the fact that the last mention in the state of Maryland, George Armwood, happened right here in Princess Anne in 1933. This is an extraordinary, complicated, hallowed ground that we gathered on today. And I would like to welcome you. The University of Maryland Eastern Shore hopes that the Eastern Shore history will season and elevate your discussion today. Thank you on behalf of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and our 16th President, Heidi M. Anderson. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mock.
You're welcome.
Today, we're going to be centering the Association for the Study of African American Life and History 2025 theme, African Americans and Labor. This campus is no stranger to Black ingenuity, so it's an absolute honor to introduce an incredible woman whose trailblazing creation has made Maryland shine even brighter, and whose fortitude we can all be proud of. So at this time, I'm going to be welcoming Keyanna Bowen up to the podium. Keyanna is an interiors photographer, designer, and TV host of Magnolia Network's Rental Region. As a multifaceted creative, her brand, Easton Lane, celebrates home and design and has been at the forefront of the rental renovation movement, including from the screen that my mother, my grandmother, and I watched weekly. It inspires renters and homeowners alike to create a home and life you love no matter where you live. Keyanna's work has been featured in leading publications such as Veranda, House Beautiful, Domino, and more. She's named the top 50 interiors photographer by Architectural Digest and a 2023 Style Maker by Better Homes and Garden magazine. When she's not traveling for creative projects, you can find her enjoying the outdoors and the Eastern Shore with her husband Daniel and fur babies. Welcome, Keyanna.
Thank you so much.
you, everyone. Good afternoon. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much to Vice Chair Moaney for inviting me. Initially, I think you reached out in January, and I was supposed to speak at the August meeting, and I had it on my calendar. I was so excited, and then a schedule conflict popped up, and I had to cancel, and I was just so devastated because I thought I had missed out on such an amazing opportunity that I probably wouldn't have the chance to do again. But lo and behold, the August meeting got shifted to today, and that was the best news. So my apologies for any organizational things that might have happened, because I was definitely praying, Lord, if there's a way to shift that meeting, can we shift it? So I am just so grateful to be here today. And really, it's always a reminder to me that there is no such thing as a missed opportunity. You know, what is meant for you is meant for you. And that has really been a constant theme in my journey as an entrepreneur here on the Eastern Shore. You know, the theme of divine timing. And I think it is so special when things like this happens and, you know, everything aligns, because it really shows me that I am walking in my true purpose. So I'm honored to be here today and share a little bit about my journey. I have lived on the Eastern Shore for most of my life. I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York, but my parents relocated to Berlin, Maryland, which is about 30 minutes from here, when I was a freshman in high school. So I went to high school at State Decatur, and growing up in a small town, when you're in high school, a lot of the sentiments is when I graduate, I am moving away to a big city, you know, and that was my plan. I went to college in Washington, D.C. at Howard University, and, oh, we got some guys in the back. Thank you. At Howard University, and I studied broadcast journalism, and my goal was to move to LA and pursue a career in television because I wanted to be a TV host. My senior year of college, I was interning with Discovery, which is now Discovery, Warner Brothers, and HBO Max. They've merged, and so they're now this huge TV conglomerate. They own, you know, HGTV, Food Network, CNN, TNT, if you name it, they probably own that network. They had offered me a position in their PR department, and as great of an opportunity that was, it was 2009, so height of the recession, no one was getting jobs, and there was just something in my spirit that was telling me to move back home to the Eastern Shore. And I'm a woman of faith, and so I listened to that voice, and I moved back home. And I was immediately met with the challenge of, okay, how do I now pursue this dream that I have of being on television and being an interior designer and all these creative ideas that I have in an area that is really limited when it comes to, well, definitely entertainment television, but there isn't a lot of creative opportunities here, especially at that time. And so I was constantly in this quandary of like, do I just say, forget this, move into a big city to pursue my dreams, or am I gonna try to build something here? And I chose the latter, and that's kind of how all of it started. In 2015, I decided to start an interior design and lifestyle blog, which was called Easton Lane, which is now my company's name. But initially, it was just a creative outlet for me to showcase my love of home and design. And I taught myself how to use a camera. I started photographing DIY projects that I was doing in my home. I photographed my friends' homes, and I was featuring on my blog. And then over time, builders and architects and other designers started to see my photography work and asked if I would photograph their projects. So what started out as just a hobby quickly turned into a thriving photography business, and I now travel across the country photographing and styling some of the most exquisite homes for top publications like Veranda, House Beautiful, and Domino, as Vice Chair mentioned earlier. But really, it's just been so amazing to see something that, you know, you don't typically see in a small town, being able to do that on a national stage. And then, as you mentioned, I also have had the opportunity now to also do television, which also stemmed from my blog, and I was doing YouTube videos where I was showcasing my home and doing projects in my home. Eventually, an executive who makes television shows reached out to me and asked if I wanted to develop a TV show for Magnolia Network, and which is Chip and Joanna Gaines. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they used to have a very popular show on HGTV called Fixer Upper. They started a network not too long ago, a couple years ago, and that network is also owned by Discovery. So it just blows my mind when I think about how back in 2009, I turned down a job at Discovery only to be reconnected with them 10 plus years later for my own television show. And again, just that theme of, you know, there's no such thing as a missed opportunity. What is meant for you is meant for you. So being able to accomplish some of the things that I have accomplished without having to negate the voice in my spirit that says stay on the Eastern Shore, and still be able to accomplish the television career and the photography career that I dreamed of. Really, I give all glory to God, but I think it also shows just the strength and the fortitude that when you pursue and focus on your passion, you can accomplish anything. And that is always kind of what I hope to instill into others, especially other Black women who might not have or see opportunities at their door right now, especially if you are in an area with limited resources or that lacks resources, that we are creators by nature, and that we are able to bring forth things in our minds into fruition and into reality that we might not have thought. So always just believe in yourself. But I don't want to take up too much time. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm okay with time. So my TV show is called Rental Redo, and I make over spaces for renters. If you have HBO Max or Discovery, a lot of the streaming networks, you can stream the series there. But in addition to that, I travel across the nation photographing homes, and I also do a little bit of content creation for brands as well in the home and lifestyle space. So again, I'm just so grateful for this public meeting and the work that the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture is doing to help amplify these voices. I know that it was probably a little bit of a hike for you guys to come to the Eastern Shore, but I live 15 minutes away, so this was very easy for me. So thank you all so much for coming here today. But I don't want to leave without also mentioning my husband, who unfortunately wasn't able to come today, but he too has a similar journey. He is a music composer, and he is the founder of a nonprofit called Symphony 21 here on the shore, which is a music and arts nonprofit. And similar to my journey, where as a composer he should be living in LA or Nashville, he decided to build something here as well. And it's been amazing just to see how he has been able to still accomplish, scoring for television and film right from our small town. Our motto has always been, bloom where you are planted, and that is what we are trying to do. I'm a strong believer that when you nurture the seed, that it will grow. And so again, thank you so much to the commissioners, the vice chair, to the chair for having me, and to all you guys. I know this is a little bit of a Spark Notes version, but please, I would love to connect with you all afterwards. You can find me on my website, eastonlane.com, or on social media at Easton Lane. Thank you all.
Is anyone else feeling inspired? I've got a lot of projects to work on when I get home, so that was helpful. And next, I think building off of what Keyanna shared, your journey here should have been evidence that the Eastern Shore is about growing and building things. And that's not unique to just our side of the bay, but it spans both. And so our next speaker is going to be anchoring Southern Maryland. I'm going to be welcoming up Tranice Watts. I've known Tranice for several years now, but I would like to give you all a brief introduction. Tranice Watts is the first Black woman to co-own and operate a craft brewery in the state of Maryland. Her former brewery, Patuxent Brewing Company, was also the first craft brewery in Charles County. And it's still one of the only 100% Black-owned brewery tap rooms in the state. Additionally, Ms. Watts is a member of the Brewers Association Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Education Subcommittee and the Craft Brewer Conference's Seminar Committee. In 2020, she was appointed as a co-chair of Charles County's Economic Development Business Outreach Committee, and she is also a 2022 recipient of the Baltimore Smart Business Dealmakers of the Year Award for Community Engagement. Please join me in welcoming Tranice.
Okay, you made me sound very fancy. Thank you very much. So I think because we're running a bit short, they won't have the presentation, and I'll try to be very quick with my thoughts. The first one I really want to share with you is something we already know, but we're going to remind ourselves today. And that's that Black spending power is an economy in itself. Today, Black Americans estimate at collectively holding 1.8 to over $2 trillion in buying power. If Black America was expressed as an economy, we would be actually ranked larger than most countries around the globe. Here in Maryland, our buying power is over $80 billion. To put that into perspective, we could pay for the state's education budget and some. Okay, so our dollars aren't just significant, they are essential. Maryland could not and would not thrive without the economic engines of Black households and our communities. So imagine what we could do if we keep collectively investing strategically, right? Now this idea of collective investing in resources was huge to Open Brewery. When I first started, there was 6,000 plus active craft breweries. Less than 60 of those were Black owned. Even less owned and operated by Black women, and about 5 of those had actual physical locations. So the message was clear: we could certainly drink it, we could sell it, but we couldn't produce it. But thankfully, my history had prepared me differently. I was a certified welder thanks to Maryland's vocational high schools. I had a history, okay, in policy and technical writing. And all of our co-owners were also licensed tradesmen. So what they insisted we had to pay for about $300,000, we were able to build ourselves for less than $50,000. You know, so aside from the amazing amounts we grossed, we were able to help so many through the years. Local NAACP, families getting money during the holidays, youth in sports and music, and even hosting town halls. Because our history had also taught us that a brewery was never just about consumption, it was historically a place for diplomacy, for celebration, but also for educating people. Now, historically, brewing was actually a sacred position. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I hate getting kind of stuff behind here. But historically, brewing was a sacred position that was actually held for women and trusted to us. But oftentimes we see today in modern times, women of color were largely invisible, but I kept seeing them too. And these women were certified master brewers, professionals, but they were also caretakers. And oftentimes they had incredible opportunities, global speaking invitations, fellowships abroad, but they lacked the disposable income and means to actually seize those moments. Thankfully, we were also helpful to navigate that through Lifting Lucy, which was a group of women who dedicated themselves to directly supporting women of color in brewing science and food science across the globe. Now, before Lifting Lucy, there was sporadic acknowledgement of Black women in beer. Today, you can Google and yield plenty of stories about us. The money we gave them was very important, certainly, but the history that we shared and that we reclaimed with each other, it gave them agency, visibility, and it gave them pride. Now, as a result, many of these women went on to purchase lots of land, open multiple breweries. They also have one of that's actually leading one of the largest Black-led beverage conferences in the US. And one of them actually created an awesome beer that was an ode to a historical figure named Patsy Young. Now, Patsy Young, I have to mention her because she was a 16-year-old who escaped slavery in 1808. Sheer determination. Her wanted notices would describe her as fling barefoot, an excellent seamstress, cook, and brewer, and possibly carrying stolen brewing tools. Now, thankfully, with her knowledge and her skills, and certainly help from people who saw a young person in need, she actually wasn't recaptured until 16 years later. This time with her daughter, however. But don't worry, she escaped just months later with her child, and they lived their life out in freedom. I say this for my last point. Our youth, our labor force, the preservation of our history, and our future depend on how we show up for them. Patsy, as a young person, was deemed a criminal, right? So imagine the 500,000 Black people, Black young people in our state today, 20 and under, generalized to that same narrow lens. Criminals, less than. We have to trust and believe in our young people. Because if we don't, we allow others to exploit them in the labor markets and in general society, right? But trust me, They are ready. Our young people are hungry, and they are passionate to take everything that we've built as a foundation and expand it far beyond anything you could dream of. So thank you to this commission for having me. I know it's pretty quick, but I just really, really appreciate y'all. I do from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for always expressing the truths. Our economic power is vast. It's rooted in the free towns that we had before the Civil War. Okay? And you are truly our bridge to transforming that power into generational wealth. I thank you to this commission for really just exhibiting all the powers, really, everything you all do. From the grants to protecting our historical landmarks, from the stewardship of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, and for the support that you give to cultural, educational, and research programs. Thank you for showing up for us, and I hope we do the same for you. And I just really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
That was incredible. All of these presentations. Thank you all for coming and blessing us with these insights. This is one of the reasons that we like to feature speakers from the regions where we host our public meetings so that we can exchange this information. We can learn about each other. We are the African American Heritage and Culture Commission, and that culture and that heritage gets expressed in a multitude of ways. So I want to thank you, Dr. Mock, for reminding us and anchoring us in the history of this institution and the power of Black education, which has been able to produce Ms. Bowen and Ms. Watts in their brilliance and their contributions to the wider society. And as I listen to both of you, I'm just so inspired, and I'm thinking about the connection between brewing and healing and conjure, and the connection between our heritage, our economic power, our self-determination, and certainly our caretaking responsibility and ability, as you spoke, Ms. Watts, about, Ms. Bowen, about taking care of our homes, our domestic spaces, and by virtue of that, ourselves and our communities. So I'm just so grateful to all of you. My name is Keyanna Bowen. I'm the chair of this commission. And what a wonderful start to our meeting. And I have to give so much praise to Vice Chair Jaelon. He's a star among stars. And I'm so pleased that he summoned all of you here, bridged these connections with UMES, and really curated the experience for this meeting. So thank you again. Now we're going to get into some of our more formal business. Different kind of energy, but I think interesting and exciting nonetheless. First of all, just as a point of order, I do want to recognize Commissioner Daley, who has joined the meeting. I want to make sure, Mr. Herbert, that her presence is recorded for the record. I also want to acknowledge that a quorum is present for this meeting between our in-person commissioners and our virtual commissioners, so that needs to be acknowledged for the record, and we can proceed. Our next item of business is approval of the minutes from our last meeting in August. So I would ask at this time if any commissioners have any corrections or amendments that need to be recognized. All right, well, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
So moved.
All right, commissioners, thank you. May I have a second? All right, fantastic. Vice Chair has seconded the motion. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 Thank you. The minutes are approved. Before we proceed with our formal protocol, I would actually like to request that we pause for a brief moment of silence in recognition of the profound loss suffered to the Hawk Nation from last month. As some of you know, The UMES community was shaken by the tragic passing of two first-year students, Luke Jason Hawthorne and Munir Boyan Morris, both aviation science majors who lost their lives in a car accident near Snow Hill. I'm sure that their loss has been felt across this community and beyond. So if we can please just take a moment to pause in honor of their precious lives. Thank you so much. And I hope we'll still bring that, yes ma'am.
Could we also do the same thing for Dr. Earl Richardson?
Please stand. Dr.
Earl Richardson?
Dr. Earl Richardson? Have we lost
State
Dr.
president, 26 years.
Morgan State president.
Morgan State, and he was from here, and he attended school here.
Thank you. At Morgan State University was the president.
President for
26 years. Was a student formerly at UMES.
Yes.
Let us acknowledge and honor her. Thank you, President Emeritus. We'll take a moment for him. Again, thank you so much. Let's bring that same spirit of care forward in this meeting as we conduct the Commission's work to honor and preserve and uplift the contributions of all African Americans in our state and nation. So now we proceed to the delivery of our committee reports, and I will begin with the chair's report. Our very first item is to vote on a new special committee. Vice Chair Moaney will helm this committee once we pass it. It is entitled the Committee on Government Affairs and Community Advocacy. Now this will be an ad hoc committee, which means it's being formed to carry out a specific function. And in this case, to strengthen the Commission's capacity to engage public officials and coordinate with community partners in advocacy efforts aligned with our cultural preservation and other goals. As an ad hoc body, this committee will not be added to our bylaws at this time. Instead, it will operate under the Commission's existing authority, reporting directly to the Executive Committee and bringing forward recommendations to the full Commission as appropriate. Once its purpose has been fulfilled, or if the Commission later determines that its role should be made permanent, we can revisit whether to formally integrate it into our standing committee structure. This committee, I should say, represents an important next step in advancing the Commission's strategic goals, which you'll hear more about from our Executive Director today, and that we discussed as a Commission at our special meeting in September. I'll now read the committee description aloud for our online commissioners. All members have received this in writing in advance, and then we will follow with the vote. Section 1. There shall be an ad hoc government affairs and community advocacy committee composed of commissioners and non-commissioned members. Pay attention, everyone in the audience. It shall be the function of this committee to expand the capacity and reach of the Commission through community-based volunteer mobilization and to support the Commission's mission through strategic political advocacy across various civic domains. The committee shall be composed of a chair, a legislative advocacy special advisor, Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum staff liaison, a state agency partner, and various contributors serving as regional advocates or representatives from across the state of Maryland. Section 2. The Government Affairs and Community Advocacy Committee's responsibilities shall include, but are not necessarily limited to, strengthening statewide community engagement and representation across all regions of Maryland to advance the initiatives and programs of the Commission, and formulating legislative advocacy strategies and priorities in consultation with federal, state, and local policymakers to advance the stewardship of Black histories, places, and landscapes. Section 3. The Government Affairs and Community Advocacy Committee shall execute its responsibilities by identifying opportunities for the Commission to develop, engage in, and support public policies that align with its mission to advance Black history and cultural stewardship, developing a Commission alumni corps of former commissioners to support committee work, advocacy campaigns, or special initiatives, enlisting qualified community members as informed volunteers and experts to support under-resourced commission projects, and finally, designing and advising travel delegations for staff and commissioners to increase visibility and foster strategic partnerships throughout the state of Maryland and beyond. We can take a few moments for discussion of any points or concerns about the language on this committee, from commissioners that is. Okay, hearing none in the room, seeing none on the virtual screen, I will entertain a motion to approve the language for this new committee.
So moved.
And please name yourself, Commissioner. It's for the
Commissioner
record.
Bridget Jones-Smith.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones-Smith. Who will second the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Morrison, who has seconded. It has been moved and seconded. All right. All of those in favor of creating the ad hoc Government Affairs and Community Advocacy Committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right. Well, it has passed, and we have a new committee to be chaired by Vice Chair Jaelon T. Moaney. I'm very, very, very excited about this. All right, my next order of business concerns the Commission's participation at the annual National Conference of ASALH, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. Commissioner Brian Morrison over here, and I had the privilege of representing Maryland on a national panel alongside commissioners from the South Carolina African American Heritage Commission and the New York State Commission on African American History. Our session invited each state commission, and we organized the session, by the way, to share an overview of its origins and current initiatives while reflecting on the unique challenges and successes we each face. Our shared goal was to identify collaborative approaches that can amplify the impact of state commissions more broadly, working to safeguard African American history and culture amid the challenges of the current moment. We had tremendous engagement from the audience, which was really, really gratifying and encouraging. Lots of questions. Audience members also offered new ideas, such as, which I haven't shared with anyone yet on the commission, a proposal for a youth commissioner, and for us to set a goal of there being 50 African American commissions for 50 states. Currently, by my research, there are only 7 such commissions across the country. We also had an opportunity to highlight some plans that our commission is pursuing to strengthen our own impact here in Maryland and resiliency, most importantly, considering the broader conditions we're all navigating in. So one of the things that we offered was expanding our legislative base of support, and so this is the motivation for the formation of our new committee. We have some stalwart champions in the Maryland General Assembly, and of course we are a governor-appointed commission, so we certainly have the support of our governor. We want to broaden, that base by working more closely with the Maryland Legislative Black Caucus and the governor's office to ensure that our priorities remain visible and well supported. We're also planning to mount a very strong advocacy campaign. You'll hear a lot more about this later in the meeting. We have formally requested $3.5 million in state funding to support our museum and other activities. And we are attempting to secure appropriations for a non-capital community programming fund. Again, you'll hear more about this later. We are working diligently to get these appropriations in place. We also are endeavoring to strengthen our ground game across Maryland. showing up for communities, from local festivals and historical commemorations to civic events, to enhance our visibility, to build some relationships and engage young people in this work. So this is one of the reasons it was really, really important for us to come here to the Eastern Shore. We've planned some additional visits to the Eastern Shore. We have, looking retrospectively at the focus of the Commission in recent years, we flagged a concern that we have not had sufficient presence in this region of the state, and we really want to rectify that. So this is just the beginning. We're so pleased to be here. So we want to continue to anchor our initiatives through interagency partnerships within the state and really build our fundraising muscle as another prong. We are seeking to cultivate new philanthropic partnerships with the goal of establishing an endowment through our museum foundation to ensure our long-term stability. So again, we can have economic self-determination. That's important for us in this phase, and certainly building coalitions and aligning with like entities is something that's very important to us, which is why we took ourselves and our cause to the national forum at the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. So, is there anything you would like to add, Commissioner Morrison, since you were also present?
Yes, I'd just like to add that the major piece that came out of the conference, and those of you who may not be familiar, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History is the preeminent organization where African American people who are interested in African American history, culture, and preservation meet annually and do this work throughout the year. The founders of Black History Month, Carter G. Woodson and others, founded this organization back in 1916. This was the 110th annual meeting. But the big thing that came out of it, and some of you may have been to ASALH conferences in the past, and we had over, I would say, at least 75 folks come in and out throughout the time of our presentation. And this is a really important time for this work. Historical preservation, particularly of African American historical spaces and ideas and communities and recognizing people because of the onslaught of the current administration. So there was a lot of interest in finding out how are people around the country navigating their preservation space in this time. And one of the big things that came out that the chair mentioned is the desire to create more state commissions that do the kind of work we do. The 3 states that were represented, North Carolina was invited as well, but they weren't able to attend. They had a scheduling conflict. But the 3 of us that were there represented different stages of development in this work. And our commission is the most developed commission doing this kind of work. So in South Carolina has just been around for since 2018, and New York has only been around since 22. So they're relatively early on in their existence. And they don't have nearly the kinds of resources that we have. So as we shared this out, and it was a roundtable session, it wasn't papers, presentations. So we engaged the audience, and there were people from Texas, Florida, all around the country, New Orleans, sharing their experiences with all of us. So we really were able to gather a lot of information, and people were very, very much interested in continuing the work and the effort. So what we're doing is putting together a playbook on how to create state commissions. And we are organizing meetings for it. We've made numerous networking connections at the conference. And we're putting the word out for anyone in any state that wants to be involved or participate in creating a commission. And the depending upon the state, that may not be the best strategy for you at this time. One of the things that was shared with us is that the state of Florida is creating an African American History Museum. Who knows what that museum and what the stories is going to be told in Florida these days about African American history. But in any case, those who are interested in using this tactic and this strategy to support the preservation of African American history and culture in their states are being invited to this session and move forward with creating this. The folks in Texas are very much interested, as well as some folks who feel much interest from people in Florida. But that is a major outcome of this, and we'll be looking forward to reporting more on the progress of this initiative moving forward. It's not necessarily an initiative of the commission, but it is something that came out of that presentation.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Morrison. I'm so glad you chimed in. Yes, it was very, very energizing. All right, finally, I want to bring to the Commission's attention a matter of growing importance for us. We were asked a few months ago to review and approve the text for an historical marker recognizing the House of Reformation and Instruction for Colored Boys. This is an institution that later became the Boys Village of Maryland and is today known as the Cheltenham Youth Detention Center. This is in Prince George's County. More recently, it has become clear that our role in addressing the historical legacies of this site may be expanding for us to discuss, as the Commission has been asked to provide technical assistance alongside other agencies now working to confront the full scope of this history. For context, the House of Reformation opened in 1870, just 20 years after Maryland established the House of Refuge. Notice, we are the House of Reformation. Theirs is the House of Refuge for white youth. It was intended as a reform institution for black boys, but it quickly became a place of profound injustice. Children as young as 5 years old were taken there, often for minor or fabricated offenses like vagrancy, petty theft, or running away from home. Once confined, they endured inhumane treatment, forced labor, and even leasing to area farms under conditions that mirrored slavery more than rehabilitation. Now, in recent months, there has been a shocking discovery. You may have seen it on the news. There was an expose in the Washington Post. An unmarked burial ground with at least 230 black children who died there over 150 years ago. The site's been long neglected and overgrown, and it sits between the well-tended grounds of the Cheltenham Veterans Cemetery and the Cheltenham Youth Detention Center. This discovery has moved leaders at every level of government. Our Speaker of the House, Adrian Jones, has personally visited the site, and Governor Wes Moore has issued a public statement acknowledging this tragedy and pledging that the state will make additional investments in the restoration and repair of the cemetery in next year's budget. The Maryland Historical Trust, which our commission works very closely with, and the staff of our agency that support our African American Heritage Preservation Grant Program are arranging a site visit in October to evaluate the condition of the burial ground. However, we have agreed that commissioners will not participate at this stage since a related application is currently under review for the burial ground restoration as a part of our preservation program, competitive grant program. So as I said earlier, our commission's engagement at this point is not yet determined, but as you can tell, this is a very, very important matter to address of great historical and contemporary significance. So we have some more conversations to have with some of the other parties involved, but I wanted to give the commissioners present early awareness on this evolving concern. So that now concludes my chair report. If there are any brief questions, we can entertain those. Otherwise, we will move on to an additional committee report. All right, then I shall give the floor to Executive Director Chanel Johnson for the Director's Report.
I'm sorry, I couldn't answer the question about the shelter. Sorry, I do have a question about the shelter. So at what stage are we in with that? Is there an organization or an entity that is spearheading that we'll be working with? Is that going to be under NHT, or is it going to be coming, where is that going to be coming out of?
So this is what we have to sort out at this time. We have, as I said, an application from I think it's the Department of Juvenile Services that is seeking to do restoration on the site. The Maryland Department of Transportation has some involvement around the historical marker for this site, and Maryland Historical Trust is working with us in an exploratory capacity to see what some next steps could be. There has been some discussion of the formation of a task force, bringing those entities together, and also involving local historians and genealogists who can support the work related to the burial mound.
It seems that would probably be the best way to go, a task force of some sort. Just wanted to idea where we might be at. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, wait. Sorry, it's Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope everyone is well on this beautiful day. This is actually my first time on this campus, and I definitely want to tour it. Shout out to Taja, our director, our marketing coordinator, who hails from UMES. I tell you, she is an ambassador for this university like no other. So thank you, Taja, for all that you do for our museum and for being a proud alumni of this university. So I'm going to start my director's report. My bad. It should be on the screen, but if you are a visual person, you want to turn around and see the presentation, cool. If not, you can, watch me give my presentation. All right, so first of all, thank you all for being with us today, and shout out to the commissioners online. Thank you for your presence as well. I'm going to be sharing pretty much the first quarter for FY26, mostly August and September activities. So the quarter actually began in July. I already did that July report, so I'll be sharing out the rest of quarter one, which is August and September, which has been really extraordinary for our museum, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. We demonstrated strong momentum across every one of our 7 strategic priorities. Commission, anybody want to hold up our handbook? Strategic plan?
All right.
It's really nice. Okay, if anybody wants a copy, I only have a few left. If you really want it, I'll give it to you. But it's really, really good. So it outlines 7 strategic priorities, and I'm excited to share these accomplishments with you as we embark on accomplishing some really incredible goals and milestones for our agency. This quarter, we've completed our operational planning for 2 fiscal years, and began planning for what promises to be a transformative exhibition in response to America 250 entitled She Speaks, Black Women Artists and the Power of Historical Memory, launching in 2026. 2 highlights immediately stand out. We've launched our 3rd year of our after-school programming, and we've been incredibly active in grant writing. We hired a grant specialist, and thus far, we've submitted nearly $400,000 worth of applications. So this report covers our key accomplishments in financial sustainability, educational programming, collections development, and community engagement. Next slide. So our first priority within our strategic plan, our 5-year strategic plan, is strengthening financial foundation through diversified sources. So when we were putting together this plan, we surveyed all of our donors and stakeholders, and 100% of them said that they were concerned about the sustainability of the museum given the current federal and political climate. So we came up with a plan that it was important, really a goal, that it was important that we diversify our funding sources. Currently, our state appropriation for FY26 is $1.7 million. We have about 75% remaining for this fiscal year. That's about $1.3 million available for our operations. We've also secured a this was a few sessions ago, a $2.9 million capital budget. A $3 million capital budget for essential infrastructure. That has already been scheduled and budgeted with our general contractor, an architectural firm. That will include HVAC replacement, building facade repairs, and lighting upgrades. On the grant front, we've submitted, again, nearly $400,000 in application. So far, we've been awarded $64,500. We've also secured $30,000 towards our $40,000 goal for our international youth travel trip to Senegal, which I'll discuss shortly. Our fundraising goal for FY26 is $250,000. We've raised nearly $100,000 so far, which means we have $150,000 left in remaining. Hopefully we get that through grant funds as well as donations. This is in support of not only this fiscal year, but going into FY27. A special note is that, does anyone know who Ted Mack was? Lou, I know you know who Ted Mack, you better remember. Yes, okay, so the late, great Ted Mack was a past commissioner. And this summer, his family, shortly after his passing, created the Ted Mack Visionary Museum Fund. That is an annual fund going to support our museum operations and mission-driven work. You can find that information on your website. So we're really excited about this fund. We've had some great traction, and his family are actively stewarding donors to this accomplishment. We're also taking strategic steps towards, I'm going to keep it real. We have been operating very hand-to-mouth when it comes to fundraising. Like, we have programs, we have exhibitions, we have an after-school program. But with this strategic plan, we're really trying to be more intentional around financial planning. So per the Finance Committee's report, we'll be talking a little bit more about that. Enhancing our physical space and infrastructure. Slide 3. All right, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum is truly a magical place. It is on the National Registry of Historic Places. We also have a modern wing that was built in 2005 that hosts our temporary exhibition and permanent exhibition, Deep Roots, Rising Waters. It really is an architectural marvel, but it's expensive to keep up. But we have a really, really great capital upgrade project. Currently, our HVAC replacement, which is included in our capital budget, is scheduled to be replaced, which is costing us about $300,000. Our downstairs office and kitchen renovation is nearly complete. Thankfully, that was covered by our insurance due to our faulty HVAC system that is soon to be replaced. We're also installing a fire alarm panel and collaborating with DGS on critical break and stucco remediation for Mount Moriah, our historic wing of our facility. So, like I said, our $3 million bond bill that covers much of this project is moving forward. Ewing and Cole, our architectural engineer firm, will begin design renderings and permitting in Q2, with DGS managing the project in partnership with our museum staff. This is a major investment in our future, and we're very excited about this project. Slide 4. Cultivating organizational excellence through our people. So our team is our greatest asset, right? And we want to make sure that we're pouring into our staff around leadership development and professional development to accomplish a lot of our strategic goals. As of date, we have 100% of staff retention in Q1. We've also welcomed 3 new team members, Alan Werdak, as a processing archivist, Brendan Blackston as our Walter B. Hill Fellow, and 2 marketing interns, Saria Hall and Riley Johnson. Thank you. We're also investing heavily in leadership development. In September, we held a 2-day staff retreat facilitated by Carmen Iman, focused on team collaboration and strategic planning. I also completed an executive coaching program with Reveal and Rise Consulting. And our education coordinator, Abiola Akintola, is participating in Leadership Anne Arundel through June 2026. We've also initiated formal succession planning for myself to ensure that the museum's continued strength and vision continues for years to come. Next slide. Building youth educator resources through community school partnerships. Our commitment to youth education continues to expand. We launched our 3rd year of our after-school programming on September 28th in partnership with the Housing Authority of Annapolis. This year's programming is coordinated with our upcoming exhibition, She Speaks exhibition, and features 3 incredible teaching artists that's in the exhibition. Spirit Adams, Noreen Smith, and Zudekia Terrell, each bringing unique perspectives to our young people. The program's learning objectives are powerful. Students will analyze Afrofuturism and liberation themes, identify Marylander revolutionaries, and articulate their impact and create original artwork reflecting their vision for the future. We're also planning an international trip, expeditionary learning trip to Senegal, Africa, in July in 2026. We've secured $30,000 of our $40,000 funding goal, an incredible opportunity for transformative learning. So we're taking our babies after y'all. Okay. All right, next slide. Establish BDTM as Maryland's premier African American cultural destination. BDTM is establishing itself as Maryland's from hidden gem to state treasure. And this recognition is growing. We were featured in Northern Virginia's magazine, How to Spend a Weekend in Annapolis, in August. Madame Noir published an exclusive feature on sacred spaces entitled Sacred Spaces, Sacred Stories, and the Capital Gazette highlighted us in their Gallery Association column. But perhaps the most exciting social media impact, I don't know if y'all are on IG, but get up on it. We collaborated with Dr. Michael H. Ford, who has 151,000 Instagram followers and 21,000 TikTok followers. He created just an amazingly produced 5-part series featuring our education coordinator, Abiola Akintola. That series has generated over 52,000 views to date. This is the kind of reach that brings new audiences to African American history and culture. Our total visitation for the last 2 months, including our online reach and on-site visitation, has been 109,000 people. So influencers, come to the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman. All right, next slide. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit about the African American Heritage Preservation Grant Program. We have hired staff for this program for our agency. Alex Anderson is a relatively new staffer, so I'm sharing her report. So this cycle, we've received 78 applications from 21 counties, plus Baltimore City, requesting $15 million in total funding. In FY25, we've awarded $5 million grants for 31 projects, and we've also hosted preparatory workshops for 150 attendees in 5 sessions. Just some notable projects to highlight: the Seafarers Yacht Club in Eastport, originally built in 1918, was a grant recipient, and they will be featured in the Pendulum. And as our illustrious chair noted, the House of Reparation Cemetery, where Speaker Adrian Jones has requested our assistance. We have a site visit scheduled with Maryland Historical Trust archaeologists to help them build out a preservation plan and scope for the project. We've also submitted a capital request to the governor's office for $500,000 appropriation to the African American Heritage Preservation Grant non-capital fund, which will dramatically expand our ability to support preservation projects throughout our state. Y'all better clap it up. All right, next slide. Community engagement has been vibrant this quarter. In September, we participated in the 35th annual Kunta Kinte Heritage Festival and hosted the Annapolis Songwriters Festival at our museum. In October, we hosted the Annapolis 250 Commission planning meeting, planning for 4th of July events, and partnered with Maryland Hall for a conversation, and we're also partnered with Maryland Hall with a conversation with Abby Phillips of CNN. Our staff also represented BDTM at 2 major national conferences, the Association of African American Museums in Charleston and the American Association of State and Local History Conference in Cincinnati. This professional development keeps us connected to best practices and innovations in the field. Next slide. All right, She Speaks. This is also a part of our strategic priority, which includes elevating historical storytelling through artistic collaborations. Our artistic collaborations are elevated in so many powerful ways. We've conducted in preparation for She Speaks, our curatorial team has conducted 10 studio visits, including at Morgan State University, Noreen Smith, Alana Fields, Fabiola Lewis, Matisse Badola, Gallery Matisse, and so much more. We've established a new art acquisition and exhibition subcommittee with our amazing Commissioner Ada Pinkston, Joy T. Mohan, and Gina Lewis, with our first meeting scheduled in October. The Sacred Spaces catalog, yes, we are a publisher, our museum, is now available for pre-sale, but you can pick it up at our artist talk on October 11th, where you can get your publication there. We've also, thank you, Commissioner. We've also made 2 significant acquisitions to our collections. An original portrait of Charity Folks Bishop Jr., the daughter of Charity Folks. Her mother was enslaved in Annapolis, manumitted, and she was the property owner of the land that our museum currently stands on. Okay, entrepreneurs, yes. And so I was looking at Miss Bowen, so her daughter has an original portrait done in the 1850s, and we recently acquired it for our collection. By her descendant, Belinda Moses. Jason Patterson, we also have an original painting by Jason Patterson that we purchased of Gloria Richardson during her march in Cambridge. Next slide. Shout out to the Eastern Shore.
Yes.
Transforming collection access and engagement are another strategic priority. Beyond our 2 significant acquisitions, we've initiated conservation projects and expanded digital access to make our collections more widely available. Our curatorial staff has supported 6 research inquiries from libraries and research centers throughout the state. The Senator Verda Freeman Welcome Archival Project has reached significant milestones. So if you don't know, you should know that Senator Verda Freeman Welcome was the first African-American woman senator for the state of Maryland. Her legislative office is in Baltimore City, and we have processed over 100 archival boxes of her legislative and civil rights archived at the Maryland State Archive. And with our processing archivist and Walter B. Hill Fellow now onboarded, we're beginning detailed inventory and cataloging of this invaluable collection. All right, last slide. So how you can help. Looking ahead in Q2, which began October 1st, our priorities are clear. We're preparing for our FY26 legislative session. And that will include further modernization of our museum. We're redoing our permanent exhibition per our strategic plan and expanding our library space into an educational center. We're also completing our HVAC installation. which sounds super boring, but if you think about it, ain't nobody going into a building without HVAC, so that's critical. We're launching the She Speaks exhibition in response to America 250 because Black women have always been at the cornerstone of shaping American democracy, culture, and life. Yes. We are releasing the Sacred Spaces catalog, which we've recently published. We'll also host an Anne Arundel County Public Schools stakeholder tour because we're expanding our after-school programs with Anne Arundel County. We will convene our Art Acquisitions Committee. Thank you to commissioners who will be on that committee. We will host an AHPP grant rank and review session and advance the Bird of Welcome archival processing project. We'll also complete building design and renderings for our capital project for our historic wing and modern wing. But we need your help. We're asking commissioners to activate our financial planning committee to help and assist with our financial planning for the next 5 years. They will be working alongside myself and our CFO. We need sponsorship for She Speaks. Please consider taking out a sponsorship on our level. You can see me after the exhibition, after the meeting to talk more about that. And you can help us reach our remaining $150,000 fundraising goal for our educational programs, research, and exhibitions for the next 2 years. And finally, we need to activate our inter-organizational committee for legislative planning and support. Thank you for your commitment to this institution, commissioners and members of the public, and to helping to preserve and celebrate African American history and culture in our great state. Together, we're building something truly remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Johnson. We have such a dynamic executive director. I feel very, very lucky to have her. She's getting the work done. She's getting the work done. And I just want to reiterate, Annapolis may seem far away, but this museum, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, is the state of Maryland's official African American History Museum. So it is incumbent upon us to support it, to lift it up, to protect it. So Director Johnson and her staff are doing all the work to make it shine and make it brilliant. We know that museums are facing all kinds of uncertainties across this nation today. We have got to shore up and protect our official state museum. If you take nothing else away from this meeting, please know the importance of this institutional asset for all of us. With that, I will hand the mic to Rochelle Adams for the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm going to...
Pardon me, Commissioner. I'm just rattling off and moving too fast. There are questions on the floor or in our virtual environment for Director Johnson? I'm not surprised.
I'm that guy in the faculty meeting that just keeps it going. You know? Everybody trying to go home and asking the questions. Wait a minute, what about? But I think these are things that we need to know. Anything on the new signage for the museum to include Tubman in it?
Yes, so that will be a part of our capital planning for legislative session. So our plan is to not, I don't want to get too technical. The current signage is engraved in the building, so we're looking to put signage on top of that, either through metal or ironwork.
And the Gloria Richardson piece and the charity folks piece, there was some fundraising that went along with that, right? Can you talk a little bit about how we got the money for those purchases? It's just going to sort of lift up the efforts of the folks there to acquire those pieces.
Thank you so much. So Charity Folks was a donation from the descendant family, and the Gloria Richardson portrait was a partnership with the amazing Vice Chair Jaelon and his network, as well as our marketing team and curatorial staff, in trying to raise funding for that piece. Members of the foundation also contributed as well.
He is complete. All right, so we'll move on to the Finance Committee report.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. So I'm going to be brief. Ms. Compton was already our executive director, has stated much of some of the financial things happening. But thank you, Johnson. I am going to defer some of the reports and information related to finance with our CFO. Is he online? John? It's John? Okay. So John is our new CFO, John Percio. Apologize for that. So John, I'm going to refer to you to give us a brief and detailed report.
Very good. So thank you, Commissioner Adams. So for those that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, just to introduce myself, my name is John Percio, and I started as the Chief Financial Officer with the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture in July. So I'm just about hitting my 3-month mark. I'm super excited to be here. Have totally gotten engrossed in all the many activities and projects and works. So really fantastic mission. So a little bit about me. So previously, I had a multiple decade career with the U.S. Department of Agriculture in various budget officer roles. One worth mentioning was with the Office of the Chief Financial Officer, another with the Farm Production and Conservation Mission Area. Now my experience is in the area of budgets, financial operations, financial reporting, and auditing and compliance. I have an undergraduate degree from Frostburg State University and a master's degree from Bowie State University. I now appreciate the honor of presenting the Finance Committee report. I do have to say it's tough following Executive Director Johnson and her fancy presentation and pictures, but I will try to improve that next time. Just for some high-level updates. Again, some of this has been covered by Executive Director Johnson, but just want to reiterate a few things. So our financial health is excellent. We're looking to improve upon that. As was reported, we have a 2026 appropriation of $1,735,000. That is actually going to go up slightly by almost $9,000 to compensate for the additional COLA for the staff. So that's being covered by the state appropriation. So that brings us, we have a available balance to date of $1.3 million. So what that equates to is we have spent approximately 24% of that appropriation this year, which has us right on track since we're about 25% of the way through the year. Next, I will shift to the capital budget. As Executive Director Johnson had mentioned, we have the $3 million capital grant through the state. Of that $3 million grant, which is fully planned out for building facade, for upgraded lighting, as well as the HVAC system upgrades. To date, we have spent a little over $50,000 of that for schematic expenses, and then very shortly, within the next month, we do have a almost $300,000 expenditure plan, as Executive Director Johnson had mentioned, for the replacement of the current non-operating HVAC system. Next up, we have special funds, which are primarily comprised of site rentals of the museum, as well as tours conducted of the museum. So we currently have a balance of a little over $31,000 in that special funds account. Now, of the balance, just over $24,000 of that is remaining of a grant that we received, and it was mentioned earlier for the Verda Welcome project that is currently ongoing. Next up, I'd like to report on for the state budget request. Last month, we completed a FY 2027 state appropriated request. And what we decided to focus on, and really it's due to the tremendous growth that the museum, the commission, and the foundation has had in the past year, we are asking for a new position. That would be that of a chief operating officer that would help us with the managing and running of the programs and operations. And then we're also looking at the addition of a facility oversight contract. When you look at the museum and you look at the operations, we have found recently that we've had to be proactive to some repairs and some breakdowns, which have proved to be very costly. Our plan is with a facility oversight contract, we can really be more proactive rather than reactive to, again, try to maintain the facilities, also do it at a reasonable cost as well. And then I'd also like to bring up, and it was brought up in brief already, that we are developing a financial planning team. This is going to be developing a multi-year financial plan that's going to encompass all of the operations, the museum, the commission, the foundation. Our feeling is that having a solid financial plan that encompasses all facets of the organization, it's not just about the numbers, but it's about building a clear path forward. So our vision is that a well-developed financial plan will help ensure better decision-making, which will be based on real data and projections. There will be an alignment between our strategic plan, which was shown during the meeting, and our available resources, the identification of risks and opportunities, and then finally, it's going to provide accountability and transparency across the entire organization. So with that concludes the financial committee report. At this time, I will go ahead and open it up to any questions.
Thank you so much, John. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask that we hold some of the questions. Maybe we can pull some questions toward the end. I do want to be mindful of time. There's only about 30 minutes remaining in the meeting. We have 2 additional committee reports, and we want to hear from all of you and also respect your time and availability. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass the mic to Rochelle Adams again for the BDTN committee report, and then we'll pivot to Corey Pithy, PR and historical committee report. Thank you.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. I'm going to briefly go over our report in the absence or physical absence of Chair Pinkston. So this is in regards to a couple of our subcommittees, our Ancestral Remains Committee, Ancestral Remains, Cemetery Research and Preservation, our Harriet Tubman Lifetime Achievement Award Committee, our Symposium, and Statewide Book Committee Drive. So a couple of quick updates. The Ancestral Remains Cemetery Research and Preservation is currently in the Public Relations and History Committee that's chaired by Commissioner Gina Lewis. In regards to our Harriet Tubman Lifetime Achievement Award Subcommittee, and before I go any further, I want to recognize Lou Fields, who's in the room with us, who is the founder of this award. So we're welcome and happy to see you today. Just some updates on this. So we are in the process of reviewing applications. We had to push those back as we move to develop our nomination process and ensure that we bring that program and that ceremony that will take place in the spring of 2026 in honor of Harriet Tubman's birthday. So that will be in March. So quickly, if you have a pen, but we'll make sure to share it out soon, to mark your calendars for March 21, 2026, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And lastly, our symposium subcommittee that's chaired by Commissioner Pinkston. So we will be having a meeting on October 27th to start moving some of the work forward with that. And we're looking to have that symposium take place at Bowie State University for the fall of 2026. That ends our report.
Thank you so much. And now for Commissioner Morrison for the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee report.
Thank you. 1 second. So the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee operates basically in 3 areas. We produce the Pendulum, the Commission's newsletter, which is the voice of the Commission that lets folks know what's going on with the Commission and the work that we do. We work with public statements and public support, and we have an area continuing with uplifting the voice of the Commission, our social media area. Currently, we are in the process of publishing the fall issue of the Pendulum. Final submissions for all work for the fall issue, which will be coming out on October 20th, have been the deadline for submissions has passed October 3rd. We're currently in the process of laying it out and formatting for that issue. As Commissioner Moaney spoke, we're still continuing the theme of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which is on African Americans and labor. Commissioner Gill has a very good lead article in that one on the 100-year anniversary of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. So moving on to our public statements. I will say at this point, for the committee chairs to please make sure that you share your information for the committee updates as soon as you can. So moving on to our public statements. Within the public statements area, we've taken on another task, as the chair has mentioned, with the Maryland Department of Transportation. We have been tasked with updating markers. And so there are roughly 50 some odd markers that need updated language. And to date, and we're processing 4 per year. 3 have already been submitted, and the way the process works, once we submit them to the MDOT, they review it, then it goes on to MHT, and then it gets to final approval. Right now, we're in that first stage. Your 2 have been submitted. Isaac Mason, Benjamin Banneker, and the Nathaniel Hopkins markers. Those have been submitted with the new language, and we're just waiting for that process to go through. That'll take roughly 8 months to get to the final point where we're putting the markers up and celebrating with ceremonies with that. And on that note, now we're ready to do another review to see which will be the next 4 markers that we'll be updating. So that information has been shared with the committee. It's also been shared out with the commission. At our next meeting on October 15th, we'll be making that determination of which markers we'll be moving forward with next. And one of the things that we've been looking for is someone to lead that project because there's some other protocols that we're looking to develop. And I believe Commissioner Bradford has taken on, has taken on that idea. We did submit one other letter of support. A request came in from the Harriet Tubman Center for Cultural and Educational Advancement for their project on the underwater at the Thompson's Quarter project. Hopefully they will get the funding from that, from the Maryland Maritime Heritage Grant Program. And we have a letter of support going out to Frederick County for Commissioner Turner's projects out there. And last but not least, Commissioner Wood has decided to be the lead on our social media work. If anyone has any questions on this later, I certainly be happy to answer.
Thank you, Commissioner Morrison. Wow, that was pithy. All right, that's fantastic. So that rounds out our committee report portion. And now we'd like to find out who is in the room. We are so glad to be here again on the Eastern Shore. Have we missed a committee report? I thought that was folded into your... If there's a unique report for the AAHPC program, then please,
Okay,
let's have those.
Okay, so there are 8 commissioners and 10, this is the African American Heritage Preservation Program grant on behalf of Commissioner Robert Patterson. I'm giving this report. Currently, we have a rank and review review coming up November 6th and November 7th. There are 8 commissioners on the rank and review committee, as well as 10 community reviewers currently reviewing 74 applications for this award cycle. The commissioners on the committee include Commissioner Patterson, Commissioner Min, Morrison, Wood, Gill, Smith-Jones, Mohan, and Glaze. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I've just conferred with Vice Chair Moaney, who has offered to come and pass the mic to all of you. So we'd love to hear your name, what organization you represent, and very, very briefly, what brought you here.
Yes, sir.
Very briefly, Mr.
Good afternoon,
Fields.
everyone. I understand. We're already on limited time. First of all, let's give the commissioners, the chair, executive director, a wonderful job. This is very important work that they're doing, and one of the most important things they said, how you doing, sir, is that this is the most powerful one in the country.
Yes, sir.
That deserves another round of applause. Maryland is leading the nation. I'm Louis, and I do Black history. And quickly, I came down here in 1998, my very first time coming. But when I learned the names, the iconic names of Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Henry Holland Barnett, Samuel Green, William Steele, all from the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
Yes.
But Maryland, the state, hadn't did much to recognize it.
Right.
So myself, Earl Brown, Princeton Leggett, 2 departed brothers. In the year 2000, we went to the Village General Assembly, and we got a law passed making March 10th officially Harriet Tubman Day in Maryland. And so for 21 years, I led the effort to do tributes across the state to honor Harriet and honor those whom she represented. One of the things we did every year was to award the Harriet Tubman Lifetime Achievement Award. We did it for 21 years. Finally, Harriet said, Louis, you're free. So I turned it over to the commission. So now they do the Harriet Tubman program. Thank you very much for that. So while I'm here today, there's a lot going on in Eastern Shore right now. It's the highest part of our state. Last Saturday, we were here for the Talbot County Frederick Douglass Day tribute, awesome event. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Main Street Conference for Maryland is in downtown Easton. On November 13th and 16th, we're hosting the Maryland Heritage Tourism Summit in Easton and Cambridge. So I got flyers out front, and so we'll just pass them out. So I'm gonna leave it there. Okay? Thank you guys. This, by the way, is a fascinating young man, Aaron Rice. He's on the AI tip, so he can really tell you some stuff.
Excuse me, pardon me, Mr. Rice. Please forgive me all. I just, I have to ring the bell, so I just want to remind us all, please be pithy in your responses. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aaron Rice. I'm the founder and CEO of the Virtual Reality Collaboration Lab, otherwise known as VR CoLab. And I wanted to personally come and thank the Commission for their very expeditious letter of recommendation and letter of support for the Harriet-Tubman Freedom Center grant that we're doing, the digital recreation of Ben's 10 and some other sites at the Patterson, out on the Eastern Shore. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. I wanted to personally come out from Baltimore and thank you all in here and shake your hands and thank you for that expeditious letter of support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Linda Paez. I'm here representing the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, where I've been associated with for a number of years as your welcoming lunch. So if you come in, I welcome you, tell you a little bit about the museum, and guide you around. But more recently, I've progressed to now becoming an actual tour guide, so it's official. I've been attending these sessions for several years now and really support everything that's being done here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharon Parker. I'm a former commissioner of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, and I was appointed during the time that Theodore Mack was in office as a chair. So guys, I learned a lot, and I just give honor to the commission and the chairs because you all have been doing an excellent job. But I am from Calvert County, Maryland. I was a commissioner in Prince George County, and I started an organization back in 2008 called Remembering Our Ancestors Synergistic Association. Remembering what we have in common, how we can't do it alone, how we work together collectively when we come to meetings like this is what my passion was and it still is. I am a youth advocate. So everything I do it for the next generation in hopes that they'll be able to meet people like you who are making a difference in the world for the betterment of us. And yes, I'm a federal employed, but if I wasn't, I would not be able to be here today. So I'm thankful.
Hi, my name is Robert Filoni, and I'm the Program Officer for Partnerships at Maryland Humanities. I just want to mention 2 different programs that are up and coming. One is starting today. Our One Maryland, One book this year is Kin, an absolutely powerful book by Carol Boston Weatherford and illustrated by her son Jeffrey, which is all about the Eastern Shore. They researched their family, they looked at the relationships of their community, they created poetry, and then he did illustrations using storyboards of this. This author talk is starting today in Riversdale. You can see the multi-talented Chanel Compton's artwork, I think, on display there this evening. But tomorrow, it will be at Chesapeake College in Queen Anne's County. So if you're interested, please feel free to come. It's open to everyone. We want everyone on the Eastern Shore to know about this. They'll be traveling throughout the state, so we'll have 2 different programs taking place in St. Mary's on the 8th, and they'll also be in Morgan State on the 9th as well. So there's lots of different things here, and I see Dr. Small promoting this. It's amazing. It's an absolutely incredible book, so we're so happy to be sharing this. And then I'm also happy to talk about the Museum on Main Street program here. I'll be working with Arlisha Norwood and Mrs. Brooks in the Frederick Douglass Library. We'll be bringing our Museum on Main Street program here in January. So we'll be creating an exhibit for the specific area with public programming and also bringing the Smithsonian's exhibition focusing on innovation and invention called Spark. So that will be here at UMES starting on January 17th and going through March. And Arlisha and I are planning today.
What's up, guys? I'm Marco. I'm here. This is Jaelon, Lisa's road manager with Barnstein family. We came from Dorchester County, reporting with Doris Media on 91.7. We'll be live streaming this event, and I just want to say thank you to the commission for for having this and for all the work you guys are doing here in the community. And yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Devin Beck. I am the co-host on It's Yours Radio Live on Live 97 FM, Everything Urban. I'm also the vice president of the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, so thank you for coming out last week. We had an amazing time. I connected with Mr. Jaelon Moaney, and he has been phenomenal in everything he's doing. Thank you for the commission, everything that you're doing. In order to move everything forward. I am delighted to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Judy Lynn Mitchell. I am a life member of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. Thank you for listening, and I just enjoy hearing about the beauty of the African American culture.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaelon, and funny as you mentioned, I actually will be performing at the One Maryland One Book event at Riverside, Prince County, as well as tomorrow at Main Street. My name is Jaelon, like I said before, and I'm a singer songwriter. I'm here thankfully to Jaelon Moaney for having me, and I'm in support with my wonderful team, Bars and Family. I just wrote Dorchester County's official anthem, as well as the proposed Maryland State song. Thank you. Thank you. And as well as the soon-to-be official song for America's 250. So I just want you guys to know that we are currently supporting different organizations all over. One of our biggest goals is to have all the organizations here in Maryland heard. So I just want to thank you for your time, and you guys have a great one.
Okay, I guess I'll speak now.
And do just be mindful.
I'll be very quick.
That we're recording and the camera's back there, so
okay.
that's all that we're asking. Show your face.
Okay, so my name is Derek Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of Barzini Family, the company that owns our management company. Pretty much, I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I moved to the Eastern Shore to kind of work with helping the youth with the entertainment. I used to work for Interscope Records. So a lot of the songs that they actually hear on the radio, I actually work with. So I came here to start a music company. And since then we have the official Dorchester County song, the soon-to-be Maryland State song, and we have a song for America. It was only right to have a black woman, in my opinion, to write those songs. So with her writing everything and keeping everything, we should move forward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Aisha Norwood. I'm an assistant professor here of history here at UMES, and I'm so happy to see the commission here. I work with Ms. Brooks at Frederick Douglass Library. I work with Jay. I have a lot of jobs. I really enjoy all of them because I enjoy history. I am on the Prince George's County Historic Preservation Committee, so I love it. I love to see y'all here. I love UMES. I am a Texan, but I love Maryland, and I will always say that, and I love working at UMES, so I'm happy to see y'all here.
Hi, my name is Linnell Fletcher Pugh. I am the president of the Princess Anne Chamber of Commerce. I'm also an entrepreneur. I own 4 businesses right here in Princess Anne on Somerset Avenue. And this was my first time being here. I love it. And I want to thank you guys.
Hi everyone, for the second time I'm going to pass the mic, but it's been an honor to be able to speak, and this is my first meeting, but not my last, so great work everyone.
Same here. If you need to find me or need help with small businesses so that you don't make the catastrophic mistakes that others have, you can find me on audiblestaffing.com. Thank you to everyone. I'm Tranice Watts.
I'm Tranice's mommy.
Oh, come on.
I do whatever she asks me to do. I support her in everything that she does. I can attest to how hard she works. If you want somebody to do something, this is your person. She goes above and beyond. I watched her when she was putting her brewery together. Not only did she do the financial parts and find money for the organization, she literally spent the night and built the walls, okay? Painted, the whole 9 yards. She's a very hard worker, and I love everything that she does.
I'm Andre Hyman with the Beach to Bay Heritage Area. We're the heritage area here on the Lower Eastern Shore, so we represent Somerset County, Wycombe County, and Worcester County, and we just finished unveiling a mural in Ocean City honoring the Henry Hotel and Miss Pearl Bonner.
Hello, Carol Small, Emeritus Professor of History from Salisbury University. I'm with Beach to Bay, Germantown School, Tailhouse Museum, and Slayer Valley. All the different groups. And first, former commissioner, and thank you for naming me Heritage of a Lifetime. And the goal is to save this history on the Eastern Shore, and I write an article every month, along with Andre, about African Americans on Delmarva. I write books. Volume 4 is out. I write books about black soldiers, slave and free, who served in the Civil War, and I have not yet finished Talbot County. But trying to save this history as well as working with Vince Leggett, the last black skipjack captain. So that's what I do in my spare time. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Brooks, and I am the Acting Director of Library Services here at Frederick Douglass Library. And I just want to say that I'm glad I attended this first meeting. And also I work with Dr. Norwood and Robert. We're working on this special project. So we have been working hard trying to get everything done, lined up. So you'll hear from us soon.
Hi everybody, I'm Alexandra McDougall. I am a PhD candidate at Columbia in the Department of Archaeology, and thanks. And my work focuses on the history of enslavement in Maryland and working with ancestral remains and working towards repatriation. I just wrapped working with the Harlem African Burial Ground. And so I wanted to find more about the Ancestral Remains Committee and learn more about the work. I am new to Maryland, but I've been studying about it for a long time, so I'm happy to be here.
I'm Candace Giles, Vice President of the Harrisville Malone Cemetery Maintenance Fund. We are the stewards of Malone's Church in Madison, Maryland, Dorchester County, home grounds of Harriet Tubman. We are doing our work to help to preserve the church, which has been closed for a number of years, but also we want to share the history of the people who lived and supported Harriet in her mission.
Hello, my name is Simone. I'm an alumni from Norfolk State University, former political action chair for the NAACP. I'm currently here in the capacity as an assistant for Commissioner Jean Bailey, just an observer, but I've learned a lot, and I want to say thank you so much for your passion. Hopefully my children will be able to see what you've all created today and moving forward.
Hi everyone, I'm Jaelon, the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum and the Commission. And thank you all for being here. And please do stay tuned, follow us on social media on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook.
Hi everybody, my name is Tasha Parker. The native. Finally come back home. So it's great to have you all here today. I hope you learned some new things and about all the work that we're doing with the commission and at the museum. This is my mommy. We hope to see you at our next meeting. And we're independent.
Good afternoon, my name is LaRon Herbert and I have the pleasure of serving as the Special Assistant for the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, as well as am the Administrative Manager for the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. And this hard-working guy behind the camera is our videographer, Mr. Anthony Smoot, who makes it happen for us.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, Adiola Akintola, Educational Coordinator for the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. As an undergraduate at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, I always heard different stories about UMES, so finally coming here has been a pleasure, and thank you all for coming out.
This is a family enterprise here. Every time we have a public meeting, we've got the generations gathering. I am so glad that all of you all came. Oh, pardon me. Please forgive me.
I declined the mic the first time. Thank you for giving me the mic. Thank you. I'm a Norfolk State alumni as well. Just here as the literary agent for Mr. Fields. He does have a book. It's a great book. If you haven't read it, today's a good opportunity. And my name is Cheryl Coles.
Ms. Collins, give us the name of the book.
Freedom Seekers, Early Abolitionists in Antebellum, Baltimore. It's a great book, and it's about the story and Frederick Douglass and his years growing up in the Baltimore area. This is a wonderful book. You really should. All his story, we should have this book.
All right, well, thank you so much. Before we officially adjourn, I once again want to hand the mic over to Vice Chair Jaelon Moaney for some closing remarks.
Recently, in its premiere week, Jeopardy maintained its status as the most watched syndication series on television, debuting about 7.5 million viewers. And a few days ago, the following prompt of HBCUs for 2,000 read across screens all over America. Not to be confused with UMAS, UMES stands for the University of Maryland, this area, on side of Chesapeake Bay. Contestants Lisa and Ann didn't even have a chance before TJ cautiously uttered UMES, increasing his tally to 12,000. Now that we know UMES was on Jeopardy, let us turn to what is not in Jeopardy. UMES is an intellectual powerhouse among the University System of Maryland, and its 18 peer institutions also established under the Second Morrill Act 135 years ago. To name several, we can count on UMES for innovations in agriculture, renewable energy, forestry, aquaculture, rural entrepreneurship, cybersecurity, food safety, biotech, and aviation. Through a robust and extensive team and network, UMES is building a sustainable pipeline for capacity that bolsters our most vulnerable and remote communities. Despite fraught legacies of land seizure, funding inequity, and discrimination that endure between 1862, 1890, and 1994 institutions, UMES continues to grow agents of change that diversify underrepresented fields, ground us in all kinds of stewardship that sustain generations, and remain a formidable force of advocacy in our nation's capital. I'd like to lift up an inscription marking a plaque that stands right alongside the entrance of Kaya Hall, formerly Somerset Junior Senior High School, from 1954 to 1969. And the lyrics float in my mind every time I'm back on this campus. Somerset, we praise thee, our alma mater true. Through endless days we'll praise thy colors gold and blue. Somerset, thy victories shall know no setting sun. To President Anderson and Dr. Mock, the Board of Visitors, distinguished faculty and staff in the room with us today, students, proud alumni like Tasha Cropper, Airlie Ringel Johnson, Devin Beck, and those who are here with us today as those who might be listening on 91.3, 97.5, and 91.7. Thank you for hosting the commission today. Commissioner Daley and I will be the first to tell you there's no place like the Eastern Shore. We see you, we're here with you, and we are with Hawk Nation. Thank you for coming, and I'll yield the floor to the chair to adjourn.
Beautiful words. All right, I will officially entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right, so moved and seconded. All right, all those in favor? All right. Any opposed?
Aye. I love it.
All right, we are officially adjourned. Thank you for